Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something really strange that's happening in the business world. We're seeing these massive layoffs. At the exact same time, companies are pouring billions of dollars into AI. So, what is really going on here?
I mean, just look at the last year. We've seen some of the biggest companies in the world announce just staggering job cuts. It all starts with giants like Amazon,
Who have cut, get this, a combined 30,000 corporate jobs. All of this is happening in the name of restructuring and a new drive for efficiency.
And it wasn't just them. The package delivery giant UPS, well, they followed a very similar path, announcing a huge reduction in their workforce.
And they're planning to cut up to 30,000 operational jobs just this year as they try to streamline their whole delivery network.
And you'd think, okay, maybe a tech behemoth like Microsoft would be different, right? I mean, they're a huge player in the AI race. Well,
Nope. They also made deep cuts, getting rid of 15,000 positions across the company, all while they're investing billions and billions into artificial intelligence.
okay, so let's really dive into this. It feels totally backwards, doesn't it? On one hand, you have layoffs. On the other, you have this massive spending spree. The answer, though, it reveals this fundamental, game-changing shift in how businesses are starting to think about technology, efficiency, and most importantly, value. To really get this, you have to look closely at the cloud computing model we've all been using. You see, for years, it's quietly created what one expert calls a service trap. It basically encourages companies to use more and more services. But that's all starting to change, and it's changing fast. This quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It gets to the absolute heart of the problem. For years, companies have been paying for the tools, the process, not the actual outcome. Think about it this way. You're the farmer, working the land, trying to grow your business. But the landlord, the cloud provider, is taking a huge cut just for renting you the digital shovels. And that's where this brilliant phrase, the algorithm tax, comes from. It perfectly illustrates this fundamental conflict of interest. Your cloud provider, well, they want you to use more services more often. Their revenue is literally tied to how much you use. But you, the business owner, you just want a specific result for the lowest possible cost. Your goals are completely opposed. In this slide, this breaks it down perfectly. We're all used to AWS, right? Amazon Web Services. It's built on consumption. The more you use, the more you pay. But what businesses actually need is something more like AWR, Amazon Web Results. They don't want to manage a crazy, complex web of services. They just want to pay for a profitable outcome. It's a huge shift from being a tenant farmer to actually owning your own harvest. So how can you tell if you're stuck in this trap? All right, here's a quick self-test for you. Be honest. First, is your cloud bill going faster than your revenue? Second, do you even track a metric that connects your cloud costs to your actual business results? And third, can you look at your top 3 cloud expenses and say exactly how they made you more money or saved you money? If you can't say yes to at least 2 of these, well, you're probably paying this algorithm tax and you don't even know it.
But here's the good news. This old, broken model, it's starting to crumble. And it's all thanks to this powerful new approach called agentic AI. It's actually pretty simple. It's about giving an AI a clear business goal and letting it figure out all the complex steps to get there. This completely flips the script. We're moving from renting a bunch of expensive Legos to actually owning the finished house.
Let's make this super concrete. So in the old days, to run just one international marketing campaign, you had to hire a team of really smart, really expensive engineers just to stitch together more than a dozen different cloud services. It's just like building with individual expensive Lego blocks. Each one has its own price tag, its own manual. It's just complex, it's fragile, and it is incredibly costly.
But the new approach? Whoa! It collapses all of that complexity into a single intelligent agent. Instead of trying to manage 15 different services, you just manage one agent with one goal. And here's the magic. This is the whole point. You stop managing the process and you start directing the outcome. You give the AI a clear business goal, something like lower my customer acquisition cost. You give it the data it needs, and then the agent on its own uses whatever cloud resources it needs to deliver that result. The cloud just becomes a commodity, like a supermarket for computing power, not some complex machine you have to build and maintain yourself. Okay, so that's the theory. But how do you actually do this? Let's get practical. This isn't just talk. Here's a 3-step checklist that you can take into a meeting tomorrow to start reclaiming your results from the cloud providers. First things first, you have to change how you measure success, period.
Stop accepting these fuzzy metrics like API calls or GPU utilization. I don't want to hear about it. Demand that every single tech project justifies its existence with real business numbers. How much new revenue did it generate? How much in labor costs did it save? How many losses did it reduce? And you have to set a hard threshold. If a project's cloud spend is more than 30% of the value it creates, it gets flagged for review. Simple.
Step 2. Clean house. Seriously, you have to simplify your architecture. Get rid of all those glue services that just connect other services. You want to focus on the absolute basics: compute, storage, and network. Everything else gets consolidated into an intelligent agent layer. And this isn't just theory. I know a former CTO who did exactly this. They cut their AWS services from 37 down to just 11. The result? They reduced their cloud bill by 28% without impacting performance one bit. And finally, step 3 is all about getting tough with the numbers. Financial accountability has to be non-negotiable. You need to add a simple but powerful metric to every single CFO report: cloud cost as a percentage of gross profit. If that number gets too high for a mature business, a cost reduction plan is automatically required. And for new projects, set a hard budget cap. It's all about instilling discipline. So at the end of the day, this big shift from paying for services to investing in results, that's why these companies are restructuring. It's not just about cutting costs. It's about reallocating their capital away from renting these outdated processes and toward owning new AI-driven outcomes. So the final question you really need to ask yourself is this: in this new age of AI, is your tech bill an investment that actually grows your business, or is it just rent you're paying to a digital landlord?